Now this one's coming in on MCX. Our target is what's the question here. Avinash, we've seen gold actually come off the highs and now expectation is that so will oil. So how do you view MCX at this point in time? Because we saw in the Q3 as well as Q4, the expectation of course is of a very decent performance based on volumes. But is there any impact of commodities coming off from the top on MCX according to you?
See, I think Puneet, my guess is that as a platform, MCX is very strongly positioned. I don't think there could be any kind of margin pressure. In fact, volumes saw a very strong increase in the last quarter, and I think most importantly, as the volumes grow for a particular commodity, that actually helps the exchange make more money. So my sense is, I think numbers for Q4 should be decent. I think the growth momentum continues to be on track. And I think hopefully the current year also should be equally good for them. So I think, from a longer term perspective, if one were to buy the stock, it's better to buy it in a staggered manner. But definitely structurally, this is a very long term kind of good opportunity. But yes, I think one can always buy in bits and pieces and stay invested, for the next 12 to 15 months.
Okay. First caller for today. This one's from Andhra Pradesh and Pramod has a stock query for us. Pramod, good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your query?
Good morning. Actually, I have shares of Gravita India. The quantity is 30.
Okay.
I bought it at 1540 rupees.
Okay.
The query is actually, I want to buy more actually, with the perspective of, I want to hold it for next 5 to 6 years.
Okay, 5 to 6 years. Got it.
Yeah, should I add I want to invest large sum of money into this stock. So what's the upside potential for this stock?
And any particular reason, Pramod, that you're very bullish on Gravita at this point of time?
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking recycling would be much more growth stock. It's it's not yet touched. It's still potential is not unleashed, I guess.
No, perfect, Pramod. That is one of the key spaces also that we are also watching out for. But most certainly, a very logical step that you are taking in this direction. But how do you view this, Avinash? Because we've seen Gravita being one of the most preferred players. I think in the valuation metric also commands that valuation. But you have a couple of smaller players there. In this space, what's your preference?
No, I think clearly, I think the recycling space is gathering more and more momentum, and even the government is supporting it. As far as Gravita is concerned, I would say that, the fourth quarter should be a decent quarter, but I think, the investor wants to enter. And I think looking at the kind of market volatility, it's always better to, not put all your investments in one shot. So basically, maybe you could try and put, say, 20-25% of the funds now and wait for some more time. After the Q4, there could be better clarity. The stock is not going to run away because, we have seen the stock giving multiple returns in the last, 2 years. So growth momentum will continue, but at these levels, valuations are not cheap. They are fair to expensive. So the next 2 years are going to be interesting, much stronger. So I would suggest him that he should buy in a staggered manner and stay invested.
He managed to take a question, Anand. His question is on Karnataka Bank. He's bought it at 190 and asking what he should do in the present situation. Should he add more or sell or hold is something that he can consider. He's not mentioned if it's the time frame, but he's sitting on almost profits of 60,000 rupees. Avinash, what would you recommend on Karnataka Bank?
Well, I think he should hold on. He's got in at a very attractive level, and I think the bank should come out with a decent set of numbers in Q4. My sense is, rather than looking at adding the stock immediately, it's better that he waits for the Q4 numbers. I think numbers should be good, but I think that would give him a more amount of conviction. And, we could come to know what the bank plans to propose in the next financial year. So I think fresh buying advisable only after the Q4 numbers. Until that time, continue to hold. I think structurally the story looks good, but I would prefer that he buys at a slightly lower level so his return gets better.
Okay, all right. The next one is coming in on Narayana Hridayalaya, and this is from Sijo, is writing us from Qatar. He's bought 5 shares at the levels of 1670. Wants to know if he can go ahead and add more on average at the current levels. His time horizon is the next 3 years, sorry. And he says that he wishes to add 45 more shares. Avinash, would you recommend that?
Yeah, I think, Mahima, if the investor has at least a 12 to 18 month time frame, Narayana Hrudayalaya is a well-established hospital play, and I think most importantly, the kind of management bandwidth, expertise which the hospital has delivered. I think that is something which is not reflected in the numbers. So definitely a good play on the hospital sector, but time frame needs to be at least 12 to 18 months.
Question, it's on Eicher Motors. Our viewer KK actually has sent us a query. He's holding shares at 4615. So sitting on a massive profit of 22 lakh rupees on this counter. He's holding 800 shares also. So he bought it at the right time, bought the quantity also necessitated. So KK, many congratulations to you. And hopefully you could give us a call, tell us what you saw in the stock at that time as well, because very interesting that you bought it at 4615, because the move had just started after pausing at 36,000, then 3,600 now post the bonus amongst and the split, but a massive gain there of 22 lakhs for KK. He wants to know, Avinash, if he should still continue to hold. Now we've seen today also the stock buzzing. They just announced the electric vehicle bike launch under Flying Flea. How are you seeing this counter now?
No, I think he should continue to hold, Puneet. He's gotten at the right entry level, and I think auto sector, the tailwinds are very strong. I would say that not only the fourth quarter, but even the current financial year should be very solid for them. The Royal Enfield business is growing very rapidly, where they enjoy a market share of almost 80%. And this new vehicle, I think one will like to see what kind of response it gets on the road. But definitely, I think at these levels, if he's not requiring any emergency funding, then I think he should hold on for the next 12 to 15 months. Some further re-rating definitely looks possible.
Our viewers bought shares at 289 and 50 shares is what Varun is holding. He's asking what's the long-term perspective, Avinash, given for the water management sector as a whole. We've seen, bouts of outperformance here, Avinash. What's your view on the stock now?
No, I think he should hold on. See, water projects have now again started in a very strong momentum after the government has allocated fresh funds to the Jal Jeevan kind of initiative. And I think you could see a lot of traction in the coming financial year. I think for the last 1 or 2 quarters, almost all the companies in the water segment were affected because disbursements had become extremely slow. But I think going forward, FY27 should be a lot better. So I think, keep the faith and hold on for the next 12 to 15 months. You could get a significant risk reward in the next, say, 12, 15 months. So continue to hold.
Okay, all right. So that's the view coming in on EMS Limited. I think we've got our next caller. Karthik is calling us from Bengaluru. Karthik, hi, a very good afternoon to you. What's your query about?
Good afternoon. My query is on MTAR Technologies.
Okay.
I just wanted to check, is it the right time to invest for a long time? I'm looking at 2 to 3 years.
Okay, sorry, Karthik, this is from a long-term perspective or did you see the charts?
Yes, it is for the long-term perspective for 3 years.
Sure, okay, 3 years. Okay, I'll take this up with Avinash then. Avinash, MTAR Tech, what's the view like?
Yeah, I think we can definitely look at accumulating the stock, considering that he's thinking of the next 2 to 3 years. But I think, rather than putting everything in one shot, try to allocate funds in a staggered manner. The stock is not cheap, but I think they operate in very niche areas of defense and nuclear energy and has a very strong order book. So I think clearly if you buy, say, 20-25% now, and obviously, then stagger the buying, that would give you a better alpha over the next, say, 2 to 3 years.
That view, Avinash. Well, Avinash is a very interesting one. Eternal has been, down in the dumps and not yet participated in what we've seen in this rally from 20 to, 500 odd levels. But on Eternal, K-Fintech, CAMS and Delivery, any view on either of the stocks if it's good for Nikhil to add in a staggered manner?
Yeah, I think Eternal or maybe CAMS can be added, but again, in a SIP approach, I think, he has 10 lakhs, he said. I think there's no need to invest all the money at one shot, maybe 20-25% allocation. I think CAMS, or for that reason, Eternal, both are good companies if you are taking the next 2 to 3 years kind of time frame. So you can start with these companies. I would say that, even look at some public sector banks, private sector banks, some consumption names like Varun Beverages. These are names which are expected to post a very strong fourth quarter number. And I think the long-term trajectory in these companies is pretty solid. So probably, it could be a mix of all this.
Okay, all right. So that's the view coming in from Avinash.